So I've spoken to a number of people on in the manufacturing component manufacturing segment of the aerospace market. And one thing that has come up a few times is that the biggest issue right now is the part availability, particularly within fasteners. So those are literally the nuts and bolts that keep parts of the plane together. There's this shortage. Now, blind rivets, which are specialist fasteners used to join parts of an aircraft when access to only one side of the structure is available, there is currently, in some instances, a 3-year lead time to certain standards. Now, it's absolutely wild. So I didn't realize the extent of this problem until I'd spoken to some of the leaders in these component manufacturers. And so my first question was, why is this even happening? And there's a number of reasons. So post-demand pandemic surge. So, COVID, there was a decline in air travel, of course, and now we're seeing where demand is outstripping supply. So now that travel has gotten back to what it used to be, and aircraft production is at kind of similar rates, in some cases exceeding, there's this shortage that has occurred. There's also manufacturing capacity constraints. So you need certain certifications to be able to produce these components. Only a limited amount of manufacturers have that certification. Also, a lot of manufacturers shut down their capacity during COVID, and they haven't been able to build it back up or scale it back up. There are a lot of closures, mergers and acquisitions, and also skilled labor. A lot of people in the aviation sector left. And so there's this shortage in skilled labor, raw material shortages with, Russia and Ukraine, various wars and destabilization that has meant that there's literal material shortages and various things, supply chain disruptions, like I said, certification, various things has led to this issue. But what I wanted to get to is, okay, we're in this situation. What can component manufacturers actually do to overcome this? And I just wanted to give you briefly, I don't normally do this in these calls, but I just wanted to, on these slides, but I just wanted to provide a few examples and a few suggestions. If you are a component manufacturer and you are suffering as a result of this, what are some things that you can do? Now, the first thing is to think about strengthening supplier relationships. So think about strengthening those relationships with key fastener suppliers. I know it might be a bit late in the day, but it's never too late to foster those relationships. Look at vendor diversification. One thing that we see is that a lot of aerospace manufacturing companies, they stick to the same vendors, the same vendors. Diversify that. It's time to think outside of the box. Think about strategic partner acquisitions. We're seeing this increasingly, mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, even if it's not a full-blown merger. Let's think about partnerships. And this is part of the work that we do, thinking strategically about commercial capability. How can you strengthen your position in the marketplace in the midst of problems like this? And these are things that we work on with clients. And so strengthen those relationships. Invest in vertical integration. So bring certain things in-house. Can you get certain certifications so that you can manufacture components in-house? I know that companies like Boeing are now looking at 3D printing to make these fasteners. So start thinking about new technology. So that's point number 2. So the first, for those of you taking notes, strengthen supplier relationships. Point 2, invest in vertical integration. Look into technologies like 3D printing. Improve demand forecasting. And this is a big one. Yes. When we do strategic planning, it's that future forecasting and inventory management. Have buffers. I did speak to one fastener focused company, and they were absolutely fine because they have stockpiled. So now they've given themselves a real competitive advantage because they thought ahead. And this is what we want to help other companies do. Bumi spoke about the increase in AI and AI and forecasting. So think about this. Yeah, think about these things. So that's number 3, improved demand forecasting and inventory management. And then I won't go into all of them due to time, but collaborate across the industry. So join forces, and instead of trying to solve these problems in isolation, collaborate. How can you solve these together? Shared tooling and logistics. Who in the industry does have parts? How can you collaborate? How can you join forces? There was more, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna leave it there.